This video will contain spoilers for the original Final Fantasy VII, Remake, and Rebirth. So I just finished the original Final Fantasy VII for the first time. Before this, I had only watched other people play it on YouTube, and by getting a first-hand experience with the game, I've come to appreciate the original so much more. During my playthrough, I had so many thoughts about what was gonna happen in part 3, so I wanted to make this video where I cover everything from the original game that we still haven't seen in the remake series. So let's start where Rebirth ended. And yeah, there is a huge elephant in the room.
Aerith, wake up.
And we're not gonna touch that right now. So here's the thing. Remake and Rebirth is clearly doing a bunch of stuff that expands on the original. Personally, I think it's fun that we don't know everything going into part 3, but I have no idea what they might come up with. To make my life easier, we are only gonna focus on how the events played out in the original, and not speculate too much about new things. At some points in the story, it's very clear that they are gonna have to make some changes, and I'm not gonna be able to help myself from speculating a little. But the main point is still just to make a list over every place we still haven't seen from the OG. We are not gonna talk about anything from the compilation either. Not because I don't think that they are not gonna be important. They are gonna be super important. But I wanted to keep this video focused on the original, and we can talk about the other stuff at another time. At the end of Rebirth, everyone except Aerith is heading north to chase after Sephiroth. We make a stop at the Ice Inn, and here we learn more of Ilfarna and Professor Gast's backstory, run into the Turks, and then it's snowboard time, baby! Ow. After this, there's a pretty long section of just gameplay where not a lot of plot stuff is happening. Our goal is to climb the mountain so we can reach the northern crater. There are some caves we have to explore, and then we get to the top where a bunch of robed figures are trying to get to Sephiroth. Cloud gets another one of his episodes and ends up giving the black materia to Sephiroth, making him summon Meteor. After this, the weapons wake up, Tifa and Barret are captured by Shinra, and Cloud goes missing, and there will be a long time until he joins the party again. Doesn't that seem like it's gonna be a lot for so early into part 3? It works in the original because it's in the middle of the game and not right at the start. So they are probably gonna do a lot of changes and add some stuff for it to make sense in the new game. For starters, they're gonna need a tutorial for the people who haven't played Rebirth and Remake in a while. I can imagine the game starting with some type of flashback scene like Rebirth did, and maybe we can play as Zack or maybe even Sephiroth. But we're not here to speculate about new stuff. It's about what we're missing from the original. And there are a couple places from this one that we still haven't seen in Rebirth. Mainly Rocket Town, Wutai, and Bone Village. And I think they're gonna use at least some of those places to pad out the beginning part of the game before we're heading to the northern crater. Out of the ones mentioned, the main one I feel so sure about being moved to the beginning of part 3 is Rocket Town. This is Cid's hometown, and with us using his tiny Bronco to get around, I feel like they wouldn't have to try too hard for us to find a reason to go there. This will give us an opportunity to get to know Cid some more. Maybe we'll learn more about the Ilfarna and Cid connection that they teased in Rebirth, and it might even move the gas staff from Icicle Inn to here instead. We did not get a lot of Cid content in Rebirth, so I think it's gonna be important to establish him as a part of the group as early in the game as possible. Speaking of getting to know our party members, Vincent was one of the 2 optional party members in the OG, along with Yuffie. And seeing how much they expanded on her story, I think we're gonna get a lot more of Vincent in the next game. As with Cid, I think it's gonna be important to establish Vincent's role in the party pretty early in the game. But to me, Vincent's full backstory seems like something that will come up much later in the game. Another place that we still haven't explored that was possible to go to in this one is Wutai. In the original, it was just an optional place to visit, but they have built up the conflict with Wutai and Yuffie's character a lot, so this is a place that is definitely gonna be part of the main story in part 3. The question is just when in the game are we going to go there? Wutai seems a little bit out of the way if we're heading north, so it feels like a weird detour to make. I can see it being one of those places we go before the northern crater, but there is another place later in the story where I think it might work as well. There's going to be a balancing act between having the start of the game not feel too rushed, but not too padded out either. So I don't think they'll want to push everything we haven't seen to the beginning. I think just adding a tutorial and then Rocket Town before we're going to Icicle Inn will give us enough time with the game before everything goes downhill at the Northern Crater. Tifa and Barrett are brought to Junon where Scarlet is planning to execute them live on TV. I can imagine this being a huge spectacle, and it all ends with a slapping contest between Tifa and Scarlet. I wonder if maybe they'll change this so that Yuffie is the one that will be slapping Scarlet instead of Tifa. It makes sense with so much of the awful stuff that has happened to Yuffie being because of Scarlet. I also feel like slapping is way more in character for Yuffie than Tifa. Tifa's main weapon is her fists, so if she is the one to do it, why would she just slap her when it makes so much more sense for her to just punch her instead? Oh my god, wait. Imagine the slapping scene ending with Tifa punching Scarlet in the face, and every time we see Scarlet after that, she has a broken nose? That would be so much fun! With the help of the others, Barrett and Tifa manage to escape Junon and steal the Highwind with them. Our next mission is to find Cloud in Mideel. He is struggling with severe Mako poisoning and is not able to join the party. Tifa decides to stay behind with him, and both of them are out of the party for the next couple of story beats. Sid is the new party leader, and we learn that Shinra is after huge materia. There are 4 huge materia we can find, and the first one is in Corel. Shinra is extracting it from the reactor and moving it by train, and Sid has to stop it. I'm not sure about how much we will go back and revisit places we've already been to from Rebirth. The reactor in Rebirth doesn't seem to be in the best shape, and it might be because the developers moved the materia to somewhere else. This is the other place I think it would make sense for us to visit Wutai. I do think it would be a little sad if we end up going to Wutai without Cloud and Tifa, so I hope that if they do this won't be our only visit here. But I do think that moving the materia would give us more reason to explore Wutai, and we can learn more about the reactor Shinra wanted to build there. The next huge materia is in the reactor by Fort Condor. Fort Condor is already an in-universe tabletop game, and I don't think we can defend the Condor with the power of board games. We'll probably fight the soldiers in a more traditional battle, but it would be fun if Sid had to sit down and play a couple rounds of the game with the Shinra soldiers. I think they improved a lot on Fort Condor in Intermission compared to the OG, so I hope that we get to play it again beyond what we got in Rebirth. It was so fun that we got to see Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett being added to the game, so imagine how cool it would be if we could collect figurines of all the other characters too. After we've gotten our hands on 2 of the huge materia, it's time to check back up on Cloud. This is where we get the iconic livestream scene where we learn the truth about Cloud's past. In the original, Tifa also learns about what really happened between her and Cloud when they were kids. But we've already seen parts of that scene in Rebirth when Tifa fell in the livestream in Gongaga. So in part 3, they'll probably have an even bigger focus on Cloud's true identity here. And this is probably where we'll unpack what really happened to Aerith. After this, Cloud is back to being party leader, and we head to the underwater reactor in Junon to find the 3rd huge materia. Shinra is taking it with them underwater in their submarine, so we take a submarine of our own and chase after them. We keep the submarine we stole, and a whole underwater section is open up for us to explore. I wonder how big the underwater section is going to be. I've heard some people being worried that they would cut this part out, and maybe it's dumb of me to set my expectations too high, but I don't see them cutting such a huge part of the original, and I think we're 100% going to go underneath the water in some type of way. The last huge materia is placed in the rocket in Rocket Town by Shinra in an attempt to shoot the meteor so that they can destroy it. The reasoning for us taking the materia isn't super well developed, and it boils down to Shinra is bad, so this must be bad. Even though destroying the meteor seems like something the Potter would want to happen. Despite the reasoning for us going to space being pretty vague, I feel like the scene with Sid finally being able to see outer space for himself is a very special moment. Look how excited he looks! And besides the really big moments in FF7, this might be one of the scenes I look most forward to seeing remade in part 3. After getting the last materia, we'll go to Cosmic Canyon and deliver all the huge materia to Bugenhagen. And then we travel together to the City of Ancients. We're in Cosmic Canyon for barely a minute. So we'll either get more to do here, or I think we'll meet Bugenhagen straight at the City of Ancients. And I think this just depends on how much from Rebirth we'll be able to explore again in this game. In the City of Ancients, we'll need a key to unlock a type of music box, which we can find underwater. The underwater section is really quick in the OG, so they might either expand on it a lot, or maybe they'll move the key to some place we still haven't seen from Disc 1. That's right, we're giving Bone Village a new purpose. Bone Village is the place connected to the Sleeping Forest leading into the City of Ancient, so it already has a connection to the place. And doesn't the key kinda look like some type of bone? I think this would be a good way for them to bring the place back, and I think I kind of prefer this than going down underwater for just a quick visit. After getting back to the City of Ancients with the key, we learn that Aerith had used the white materia to pray for Holy, which will protect the planet from meteor, but Sephiroth is blocking it from having its effect. This scene is another one that might be massively changed in the remake to fit the new story. Maybe this is where we'll get more of an explanation for what is happening with the Zack stuff. And in Rebirth, the white materia appears blank. So what is that supposed to mean? After we learned whatever we'll need to learn from Bugenhagen, we'll need to head back to Midgar. The diamond weapon is attacking the city and we'll have to defend it. After defeating it, we technically go to the northern crater, but we are immediately sent back to Midgar by Reeve before we get to do anything there, so I wouldn't count this as an actual visit. And in part 3, we'll probably head straight into Midgar and not take a detour by the northern crater first. Reeve, talking through Kate Sid, wants us back in the city because Hojo has taken over the Sister Ray and is sending shots of Mako to Sephiroth, risking all of Midgar to explode from overloading the reactors. While we're there, we might as well take out Scarlet and Heidegger as well since they're in our way. I lied before. This is the thing I most look forward to being remade, and I do hope this is a pretty big section. There's something special about Midgar, and I really miss spending some time here. Vincent also has a lot of history with Shinra that isn't explored that much in the original, so I can see them giving us a bunch of Vincent content here. And then we'll finally get to beat Hojo up, and this man needs to be punched so badly. I can't wait. We then finally head back to the northern crater, and it's time for the final battle against Sephiroth. We manage to defeat him, and Holy is able to activate, but it's too late. Meteor is too close to the planet, but luckily Aerith is able to reach out through the livestream and get help from the planet, and it seems like Meteor might be destroyed. It all ends with a big bright light, and then we flash forward a couple hundred years, with Nanaki and his kids running towards an overgrown Midgar. The ending is kinda ambiguous, and who knows how much this is gonna be changed in part 3. And it wouldn't surprise me if the ending is completely different to what happened in the original. So that's all the places and events from the OG we still haven't seen in the remake series. As I said before, this is not necessarily how I think the events are actually gonna play out, and there will probably be a lot of stuff happening in the game that we won't be able to predict. But I had a lot of fun making this list, and with getting a better understanding of the original than I had before. Is there anything from the OG you feel like I forgot to mention? Please let me know in the comments below. And if you liked this video and want to see more Final Fantasy VII content from me in the future, feel free to subscribe. I'm currently editing the highlights of my Rebirth playthrough, but if you want to watch the unedited version, I have the link to the playlist on screen right now. Or if you want to watch me suffer through the frog minigame, you can click on the video on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.